So I want to take just a minute to talk about some of the organizations that have been there for us, some of the Second Amendment organizations that have been here for us. We just want to take a few minutes to pay homage to all the Second Amendment organizations that have supported us and made sure that we're successful. So sit back with me. Firearms Policy Coalition. And actually, that's it. They're the only ones that have supported us. Everything else we had to do by our darn selves. But Firearms Policy Coalition has been there from the beginning and have done so much for us. In fact, they're here tonight. I have a special speaker for you who's going to come up and talk about Firearms Policy Coalition. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Adam Kraut. Where are you at, Adam? Adam's with Firearms Policy Coalition. He is the Director of Legal Strategies, and he's the handsome gentleman right here. Come on up.
Well, good evening. How's everybody doing? Yeah. I gotta say, that's a tough act to follow. My name's Adam Kraut. I work for Firearms Policy Coalition, and I got jokes. I do want to thank Mike Schwartz and John Dillon for the invitation here this evening for myself and my colleagues over at Table 60, and for allowing me the privilege of monopolizing the remainder of your evening up here. So, bars back there, wish you all a good night. FPC has been very fortunate to enjoy a few ways of influencing public discourse and effectuating substantive changes to allow individuals to pursue a life of maximal human liberty. And we do that by concentrating in the courtroom. When I joined FPC in 2019, I was drawn to this idea of helping build out an in-house legal team that would not only plan strategic lawsuits, offer a robust amicus program, engage in original research, and publish scholarly articles, but also handle litigation in the organization itself. And for the past 3 years, we've been working towards that goal quite hard. We made some initial hires. We had a few months of normalcy before COVID hit, and then we went into overdrive suing a whole bunch of people for gun range shutdowns, gun store closures, and we even threw in a few sheriffs in there for either delaying or denying carry permits for individuals who were seeking to protect themselves. Those cases resulted in several wins, some right here in California, some are even up at the Ninth Circuit right now. In that time, we also created a strategic litigation plan that targeted several key areas. Those areas included bans on the ability of individuals to acquire and possess bearable arms, bans on being able to bear arms in public, bans on self-manufacturing, and those preventing young adults ages 18 to 20 from acquiring, keeping, or even bearing arms as well. At this point, that round of strategic litigation's all been filed. That's probably a really good segue to talk about the relationship between FPC and San Diego County gun owners. You see, you guys have been extremely helpful in partnering with us on these cases. One of the most difficult things about bringing new rounds of lawsuits, it's not figuring out some novel legal theory, finding a law to challenge, or even hiring an attorney who's competent. It's really finding plaintiffs that are willing to step up to the plate and have the characteristics that we're looking for. Without a plaintiff, there's no lawsuit. And without a lawsuit, I think you guys know the rest of that answer. And I gotta hand it to Mike. When it's time to look for plaintiffs here in California and San Diego County, he's Johnny on the spot. I believe right now we have about 6 active cases that we're partnered on together, and Mike's been instrumental in helping us find plaintiffs to bring those lawsuits. We've challenged a number of laws here in California together, and I think you all know the one that we want to talk about, the one about the California assault weapons ban, Miller versus Bonta. Yeah. That's the only challenge in the country that's resulted in a post-trial victory. So let's give it up for the, yeah. Fun fact, all 6 plaintiffs, members of your organization, 2 board members. Now, I also want to take a moment real quick to recognize another individual in the crowd. He was on the prompters not terribly long ago, Mr. John Dillon. John? If you don't know him, he's also a lawyer. He's a great guy. He was trial counsel in Miller, and he spent a number of countless hours working really hard to make sure that everything was done correctly. So we do want to thank you for your commitment to that case. So let's give a quick big hand to John and Mike, everything they've done. I'm also excited to announce that we're currently working to fund the second phase of our law center, where it's our goal to add several key roles to continue driving change through the legal system, increase our capability to rapidly envision, build, and bring new lawsuits to challenge laws across the country to restore the rights of millions of Americans. Now, I'm from outside Philadelphia, and I can think of a time when I was younger, perhaps even more naive, thinking, who cares what happens in California? I know. As I became older, I grew more involved, perhaps even a little bit wiser. I came to realize and see that California is a test bed for some of the most radical anti-rights laws to be implemented in this country. And if they survive here, they'll simply just be exported elsewhere. And that's why even though FPC continues to grow, we pursue litigation nationally, we're always going to have a keen interest on what happens here in California. I look forward to the continued fruitful relationship between our two organizations, winning more lawsuits together, and working together to restore the Second Amendment here in California. Thank you all for your time.
The road back to 2A goes through CA. That's the way we put it. And I couldn't be more thankful to Firearms Policy Coalition for the lawsuits that we partner with them over. You know, that was never part of the plan. In fact, we were making the statement at the beginning that we're putting too much emphasis on lawsuits. We want to get back to good old-fashioned activism. Let's get the right people elected. But Firearms Policy Coalition has been so great to us, and we've been so effective, and I can't tell you how thankful I am, because it's another piece of a very important puzzle to protect and preserve our Second Amendment.